I guess I should have gone a little slower, so I was sure the forest folk made it to the gates, but somehow I knew it would be all right. There was about 20 brights standing next to the gate waiting for us. I shielded my eyes on approach. The brights' greeting was just too eye-watering. "We're here. I think there might be hundreds on the hill. Will all of you walk to the top of the hill with me so we can beacon them in?" A couple of them declined, but at least 15 brights headed back out through the throngs of shady figures to the top of the hill. We held hands in a circle, and almost instantly a cylindrical tube of light shot like a laser from the earth to the heavens. A tingling feeling shook my left hand, flew through my body and out my right over and over again. We were a beacon beyond anything I could imagine. More brights had come to greet all of the newcomers. I looked around at the faces of the people and animals. They looked a bit haggard, but underneath I could see that their faces also held an undeniable look of gratitude. I couldn't stop smiling, even though my cheeks were beginning to hurt. I felt a tap on my shoulder. I feel like some kind of weight has been lifted from me. I turned to see a man that looked a little familiar. He was a bit brighter now. Some color was starting to show in his face. "Are you the one who touched my hand?" "I am. I'm so glad you came into the forest. I was going to Bright Town from Fair City, and I got lost on the way. I've been wandering for a long time. A really long time, come to think of it. Then I saw your light. I couldn't believe my eyes. I thought there was a clearing in the forest. I've never seen blue light from a bright before." "Thank you. I know it's not common. I was also in Fair City, but I just got this calling one day to leave and recover people from the dark forest. Gwen, a bright, gave me some maps and showed me how to get through the forest." "Yes, Gwen. Yes, I think I've heard that name. Gosh, it's been so long. I'm not sure anymore." I took his hand and projected love and light. He took a deep breath and brightened some more. "I think you should get some rest. We can talk later. I'll be here a while." "Yes, you're right. I'm Cameron, by the way. Nice to meet you. See you later." I turned and introduced myself to another newcomer. Someone else was touching my shoulder again. This time it was a bright. One of the 15 that went to the top of the hill. That was really something. "Did you really come from Fair City?" "I did. I felt called to go into the woods and gather people and animals ready to move on." "Are you tired?" "Only from walking. I'd love a swim." "I think I can arrange that. I'm Marco, by the way." "Nice to meet you," I said. Marco led me through what he said was the western gate area of Brighttown. He told me a little of his history while we walked. "I am of the earth. I enjoy hiking to beautiful vistas and meadows." "Is there much of that around here?" Marco looked out toward the vistas of wild greenery illuminated by the town. "The plans for Brighttown have always included a wild area, sort of a mini forest with a meadow and a wildlife viewing area. The time just hasn't arrived yet for its creation." "Marco, are crystals considered part of the earth or water elements?" "They're a bit of both. A quartz, for instance, has 6 sides like snowflakes, but they're found buried in the earth. So it's like fossilized water. Oh, I've never thought about them being fossils. What a wild notion. We turned left at an intersection that read Relaxation Road. This is it. Marco, I don't see the pool. Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot for a moment that you aren't from here. It's underground. The Western Gate Pool is part of a cave system. He led the way down a steep set of stairs to a platform area. You can leave your things here. I'm going to get us some refreshments. I found a chair and waited for Marco to return. In Fair City, the pool was always enough to refresh me. I've never been offered anything to eat or drink there. Marco handed me a cup of clear liquid. Normally, that's also true here. But as a practice, in Brighttown, when we go into the forest, we find it's best to also replenish with some rose water. It seems to give just the right amount of lift to the heart chakra. I took a swallow, smacked my lips, and gratefully downed the rest. Wow, that was delicious. Marco laughed at my reaction. I knew you needed it. The pool is just down 2 more levels. When we got to the lowest level, Marco gestured to a chaise lounge, and I tossed my robe on it and jumped in. I paddled around, looking at the rock walls on my swimming tour. Marco swam up beside me. Come check this out. We swam over to a vein of crystals, and next to that was another of precious metal. Gold? Yeah. Sometimes I come to the West Gate and remind myself what golden light looks like. The golden symbols in the forest really helped me out on my walk here. Oh, yeah. I heard you talking about that to one of the newcomers. What was his name? Cameron? Yes. My light would easily extend when I touched the symbol in the forest. Wow, I feel really good, Marco. Oh, right. This pool has healing water. It's a hot spring. I love it. But I think I'm ready to go to my cabin. Can you tell me how to get to a newcomer lodge? Oh, sure. You don't have to go by yourself. I'm happy to take you. Well, only if it's not a bother. I mean, we just got here. He smiled at my gratitude. No bother. Marco hopped out of the pool and we climbed up the system of ladders to the top and out onto the street and back to the intersection of Relaxation Road. He turned right and headed toward the forest. I expected to see a dark cloud of the forest ahead, but it was more gray than black. Is it my imagination or does the forest look a bit brighter? Marco stopped to take a long look. Lighter, definitely. It's probably the echo of your light, but we'll ask the elder brights just in case. We approached a building with several tall palm trees in front of it. This is the newcomer's inn. Let's go inside. It was like stepping into a virtual beach. The entry was made of white powdery sand, and there were flowering plants everywhere I looked. The lounge was decorated in Nouveau tropical forest. Grass mats covered the sand, and there were poufs everywhere for sitting. Marco left me so I could get a good look around while he checked me in. I should have learned the names of the plants. They all looked so familiar. Marco took my hand and deposited a key in it. Room 9B, next to the pool. Awesome! I love a pool being outside my door. Here's some clean robes, and there should be a new suit in your room. Yeah, I did a little jig. Thank you for everything, Marco. Where do you usually hang out? There's a lovely park near the south gate. I'm usually there. Great. Well, if I'm over there, I'll be sure to visit. Rest. I'll see you. Yeah, bye. I went down the stairs and was met by a lovely beach garden. Beach grass and sand were everywhere. Oh, that's different. I went to my room and plopped down on the couch. I was really tired. I closed my eyes and dreamed of my time in the forest. I saw an angel of golden light weaving through the trees, singing as she touched the blinking gold symbols on the trees. The trees danced with her passing, and the grass grew underfoot. New shoots sprouted by ancient trees, and the old darkness turned to a lighter shade of gray. A man reached out and handed me a white rose. I looked at his face and saw a smile that spoke, "I am grateful." My eyes slowly opened and I saw that I was in my room. I am the angel of my dreams. I touched my mouth. Yes, that was me talking. I decided to get up and make some tea. Near the hot water device was a tray with a note and some packaged items. For rejuvenation, stir the packet into tea. Okay. I sat back on the couch and looked out the window while I sucked on my tea. I dozed off into another dream. My feet were splashing water in a beautiful green pool. I heard laughter and looked up to see a man laughing and singing. He looked into my eyes and sang a song I knew. I am you and you are me, and we are one big family. I joined in. Together, let's all live together. Together, together, let's all live together in unity forever. I laughed. Where did you learn that song? You taught me. I did? Are you my son? He laughed. No, I'm your husband. My eyes popped open. I sucked in a quick breath and jolted upright awake. What? My husband? Oh my God, who is this guy I'm dreaming of? I did a little pacing in the room and thought I'd pace better in the pool. I opened my door and realized the pool was a different color from the pools in Fair City. Green. Huh, that's interesting. I jumped in and swam around underwater for a bit. Finally, like a whale breaching the surface, I slammed over onto my back and assumed the angel position. But I was restless. I had to find out who this person was who kept popping into my dreams. I got out of the pool by diving down and accelerating to the edge like a seal on a rocky outcropping. I flopped my belly on the rock, skirting. Smooth. I flipped around to see who was talking and gasped. It was the guy in my dreams. How long have you been watching me? Since the loud flapping and slapping whale imitation began. You look agitated. Are you all right? I smiled shyly before answering. Can you be too rested? I had some of that Rejuvelac stuff in my tea, and now I feel restless. Well, if you're up for a walk, I'd love some company. Okay, let me get my robe. I popped into my robe and threw on my new duds. They looked like they were washed with some extra bluing, giving that scorched, bright blue-white look. Where are we going? I'm not sure. I just got here. Oh, me too. What's your name? He laughed, a huge, deep belly laugh, and answered me in a generous baritone voice. Slow down, slow down. You're firing off questions at the speed of light. I smiled, but honored his request. It was so nice to see someone laughing. I think it's the tea. I'll try to speak slower. My name is Cameron. Cameron, I know you, I said confidently. You do? Mm-hmm. We met in the forest. I remember your name. You introduced yourself after we got to Brighttown. His eyes widened. You're the white angel? The what? You're the angel that was floating through the forest, singing and calling us all to you. You're the light. We were stopped in the middle of a grassy street. I stared at him, thunderstruck, shocked, and dazed. You look so different now. I honestly thought I'd dreamed it. I kept seeing a woman singing to me in my sleep. I regained my composure. That's funny, 'cause I've been dreaming of a man singing to me. His eyes went wide. His mouth slacked, and for a moment his eyes flashed wider. He was speechless, stunned, and amazed. Slowly we began walking, but we kept stopping to stare at each other, as if to poke one another. Finally, I spoke up. I hear there's a park at the south gate. Do you want to try for that, or do you think it's too far? He looked outward at our surroundings. Let's ask someone, he mumbled. Excuse me, is there a park or somewhere we can sit around here? I mean, in this quadrant? Oh, yeah. Just go 2 blocks that way and then turn right and you'll see some trees. Head toward them and there'll be a small park and a pool. Thank you. No problem. Oh, and welcome to Brighttown. I smiled. That sounds close enough. Yeah, I could go for another swim. More whaling? Cameron asked. I just laughed. Cameron looked at me again. Shall we go? When we turned the last corner to the trees, I told Cameron about my dream. So, you know when we were talking about our dreams just now? Yeah? Well, in mine, I asked how you knew that song, and you said that I taught it to you. So I asked if you were my son, and you laughed and said, no, I'm your husband. He stopped to study my face. His brow was furrowed. Wow. Synchronicity is something, isn't it? In my dream, I left out that you were my wife. Really? Wow. It's like some time warp. Everything was the same except for this other history. Or maybe I get lost again. Oh, that's too sad to talk about, he frowned. You mean we get married and then you get lost? He stopped walking and touched my shoulder. I faced him and patted his hand. And we have children, 'cause I thought you might be my son. Cameron's brow furrowed again, and his head cocked slightly, but he said nothing. The pool was in sight, and I walked toward it with an expectation of relief. We jumped in simultaneously and swam to each other. Unexpectedly, he grabbed my waist and snatched me toward him. I was surprised and barely had time to raise my hands to his shoulders in protest, but he managed to steal a kiss anyway. When he released me, I just stared back. You could have asked, you know. Oh, where's the fun in that? I don't mean any disrespect. I just felt a sudden urge. I swam in the opposite direction for a while. I had to think. I swam back to talk to him. He was waiting for me and looked a little smug. Cameron, yes. His eyes looked a bit mischievous. Cameron, it's my calling to lead people. I like to travel, and it's likely I'll be a nomad in this life, wandering from forest to forest. So I'm a bit leery of taking on any kind of relationship, I said, trying to be upfront and sensible. I don't want a relationship. I want to be your husband. He started laughing. You what? I want to be your husband. The one in the dream who has an angel for a wife singing the lights fantastic. That song of compassion. You know it's a compassion song? Who is this guy? Oh, yeah. It's what drew me to you from the dark. I knew you were for real when I heard the song. Nothing dark and ugly could sing those words. They are much too beautiful. I think I blushed. But why my husband? It's corny, but I think it's love at first sight. Are you sure it's just not that grateful rescued thing? Nah, it's more than that. You dreamt about me and me you. Cameron, I dream about a lot of things that aren't my dreams or thoughts. I'm telepathic. I pick up other people's thoughts all the time. They aren't mine. He scratched his chin thoughtfully. How about when I kissed you? I could swear I felt the electricity between us. I'm quite sensitive, Cameron. I make a pretty good lover, but that doesn't mean we should marry. Cameron took on a Superman pose. Oh, I see. It's all in my mind then. You have an excuse for all of it. Well, actually, before you cut me off, I was going to say that we could enjoy each other, but we'd need to separate soon because I don't have plans to be here very long. Cameron's eyebrows raised and his eyes opened wide in surprise. Can you do that? Love him and leave him just like that? I shook my head and looked shamefully downward. Not really. That's one reason I left Fair City. I met someone who couldn't detach from me. He started wanting to keep me, like a toy in his pocket. I swam around after making that disturbing analogy. I didn't realize that was exactly what Frank had become, an owner. When I swam back to Cameron, he was leaning against the side of the pool with his arms supporting him on the rocky ledge. Well, when you put it like that, I can see you're sort of still attached to your last encounter. Huh? I frowned. That last guy you talked about, the Frank dude? You seem to still be hung up on him. Oh, well, that might be so, but it feels more like avoidance. I'm worried about wasting energy on lovemaking, but when I look back, I can see that I didn't lose an ounce of energy. None at all. In fact, I walked right into the forest and beamed brighter than I ever thought was possible. Cameron's eyes sailed skyward. Oh my God. What? I asked. Did you figure out how to get that holier-than-thou stick from being crammed up your butt? He swam off. Well, that's nice language. I swam back over to him and came in much closer. I did. It's out now. Thank you. Cameron stroked my body underwater, moving my legs slowly toward him. He caressed the inside of my thigh. His other hand traveled along my right leg and under my bathing suit. His large hands matched his height. My whole right cheek nestled in his grip. I leaned in, breathing fully. I had played off the electricity between us earlier, but now I couldn't hide it. He was magnetic, some old seasoned lover I never knew I had. My hands caressed his strong muscles. His shoulders were wide, and his body was athletic and bulging. My hands traveled the topography of his torso and arms. I propped myself up on one knee to reach his lips. It was unmistakable. A buzzing, vibrating began to hum between us. Our breathing rate increased. He pulled away. I know we could easily progress right here, but I think we need to cool down a little and talk. I would want to speak with you about some things. I looked into his emerald green eyes, nodded, and leaned back to slip away. He leaned in to pull me back to him. Not yet. He smiled and kissed me deeply. We had a natural connection, and my energy began to pulsate, but I pulled away. Let's go. I swam toward another ledge and got out of the pool, dressed, and walked over to Cameron. Hey, tell me more about your calling. No, I told you some. It's your turn. Tell me why you chose to go into the forest. Why were you going to Brighttown from Fair City? Oh, and what's your element? Oh, wow, okay. My element is water, though I was working on the keys to all of the elements when I left Fair City. Part of my work was to travel through the forest. So it's true, I was on my way to Brighttown. I was doing really well, too. Gwen told me about the gold symbols and breathing in their color. I was doing it, too, but then all of a sudden something got in the way between me and the symbol, and before I knew it, I was lost. Looking back, I just wasn't bright enough. I got scared, and that feeling ate up what energy I had left, and I couldn't recover. That happened to me too. I think I was on my third symbol when I couldn't see the next one. So I didn't leave the third symbol. Instead, I touched it some more and thought about seeing beyond the symbols. Before I knew it, a beam of light shot out from me and lit the forest for what seemed like a mile. I could see the next 3 symbols, and I could see that someone was standing in front of the symbol I needed next. I looked over at Cameron and reached for his hand. The thing is, when I got to the symbol and touched it, a man reached out and touched my hand. Then he immediately went from being as dark as the forest to being lighter. I could see your light sparkling immediately. It gave me even more courage to go forward. He squeezed my hand and looked into my eyes. I saw tears in his. I don't have words to say how happy I was to find you. When I touched your hand, I knew I would brighten. By your light, I am enlightened. I squeezed his hand back. I'm so glad we could help each other back there. Do you know your purpose in this new world of ours? Cameron wiped his eyes. Not yet, but the Bright said that as soon as my full light returns, I should receive a calling message. Wow, Cameron, you're already so bright. He sat up. I know, it's hard to believe. My light is still a few shades less than what I was. You know, I can also pulse light. It'll be a while before I'm totally rested, but I'll show you when I'm brighter. I was surprised and very attracted. He looked over at me and grinned at me, Cheshire Cat style. What? I asked. Well, that's why we should have sex. It turns on the light. I returned the volley. The light comes if you can stay in a place of compassionate love. The two aren't that related. Cameron adjusted his position on the grass and leaned on his elbows. Do you hear yourself? You're starting to sound like a Puritan. Well, it's just that I get attached easily. It's my life's lesson, and when I consent to sex, I get attached. It's so messy after that. I chuckled nervously and looked away. Cameron stroked my face. You should have said that in the first place. I have the same lesson. I can show you how to commune and stay whole. These two are separate acts, but combine mindfulness and sharing, and, well, it's like a magnet for keeping our own energy. I stroked his forearm. Is it as passionate or any fun at all? Cameron smiled, half to himself. It's a lot of fun, and it's also less passionate. But I think the fun makes up for not having to deal with that attachment crap. I looked at the grass and thought about his words. I was trying to visualize sex without passion. I couldn't. That's when I looked back at Cameron. You look stumped. I am. I can't imagine sex without passion. Well, it's not without passion completely. It's just more fun. I stood up to stretch. Cameron, I think you're going to have to show it to me. He popped up like a cork. My pleasure. Your place or mine? My arms assumed a Wonder Woman stance. Aren't we both at the Newcomers Inn? He grabbed my hand and started walking and talking. There were so many people from the forest that needed lodgings that they offered me the only thing they had left. What was that? An apartment suite across the street. It's very private and has a lovely view and an atrium and a fountain and flower garden. I was walking fast to keep up with his longer stride. Well then, I vote for your place. The apartment was up a flight of stairs above an empty meeting place. Cameron rushed up to the top and threw the door open. He flipped around and whisked me up into his arms to carry me over the threshold. Then he slammed the door with his foot and stole me off into the bedroom. He stopped just short of the bed and lowered me gently to my feet. I watched as he pulled off his robe. He was breathing heavily with anticipation and his muscles bulged. I threw off my robe too and started for my bathing suit. It's not a naked sex thing. Come closer and I'll show you how it's done. I joined him on the bed. It was getting funnier by the second and I started to laugh. See, I told you it would be fun. Now here's what I want you to do. He gently pulled me closer in and kissed me passionately. I loved it. But he suddenly stopped and sat up on the edge of the bed. Okay, sit next to me and take 3 deep breaths, nice and slow, and close your eyes. Really get into each breath. I did as he asked while he hugged and massaged and stroked me. Now close your eyes and imagine that we are in the forest again at the gold symbol where we met. Got it. Okay, now breathe in the golden color and match your light to it, just like in the forest. Yes, like that. Wow, you look so bright. Okay, my turn. I opened my eyes to see Cameron breathing slowly for his 3 breaths. I massaged and hugged and stroked him just like he did for me. Then he closed his eyes and began to lighten until he actually became golden. Oh, you're doing it! When he opened his eyes, they looked like lanterns. He gently urged me to lay down and leaned over to kiss me, but whispered instead, "Now comes the passion." He laid down next to me and pulled me close. I wrapped myself around him to pull him closer. We rocked and moved, breathing the rhythm of the tides, but with no warning, Cameron sat back up again. Okay, now we call back our own light from each other. Sit here next to me. Again, I did as he asked, breathing heavily myself. Close your eyes again. Instead of matching the light of the symbol, turn to me and look for the color of your light in me. Ask for it to return. How do I ask for it to return? It's not rocket science. In your mind and heart, you will it back. Or, as a beginner, you can say, I call back my energy from the many places and people I've left it with today. Got it. I scanned his body for signs of blue tinge that might be there. Found it. Cameron did the same. There's my color. I looked over and watched Cameron's light return to gold. Oh, that's amazing. You totally look more golden. Cameron smiled back. Cameron, what's your color? Let's go to the kitchen and talk about it. My aura is turquoise. A little green mixed with sky blue. More for healing than communication, like yours. So how do you feel right now? I scanned my body. I feel relaxed, but strong too. Would you like to try it again? I checked my body again. I think I'd like some water, actually. He made us both a glass and added some of the Rejuvelac packet. Let's have the rest of the Rejuvelac. You sound like you have a lot of energy, but I think you're still drained from the forest. During my training in Fair City, we were taught that it was important to take as much pampering as you needed to recover from any journey. Cameron, did brights go into the forest all the time? I was under the impression what I was doing was rare. It is, but that doesn't mean never. There are brights that go in, and there's training around it and knowledge about how to recover. Wow, this is cool. Do you think we're being premature? Maybe we should pamper more. No, it's like I said, this should energize us according to what I learned. Eating fruit and drinking the elixirs are a huge part of the recovery. I sat down on the sofa. It wasn't long before I started to feel a bit antsy. I decided to meditate like Cameron taught me. He came over to the sofa and held my hand. I see visions of us moving through the forest together, but the forest isn't dark. It's really bright green, like new grass, and the birds are singing. What do you think that's about? I think it's what might be, he said. He pulled me over to lay against him. So you've seen it too? You mean the green forest of love? He asked. Yeah, the Brights taught about visions from the forest. It's the trees talking about what our Mother Earth has planned for them. That's beautiful. I reached up and pulled him into a hug. I can't remember the last time I shared a vision that vivid. Cameron, you're right. I am having fun. See? I knew we should get married. Well, if this keeps up, I'm sold. We laughed a lot more after that crazy thought and embraced each other for a long time. Eventually, we made our way back to kissing and massaging. Come on, sit up with me. Let's call back our energy. Okay, I can do it. Just a minute. He planted a wet one on me and pulled me up. You can do it. Breathe, he coached. We took our 3 slow breaths together. I started to sing. I am you and you are me. We are one big family. Cameron joined in. And when things are supposed to be, we'll live our lives in harmony. We will be together in love. Yes, we will be together in love. We'll enjoy the weather in love. We'll be together. Okay. See yourself pulling your light color back from me till we separate. Wow, that song is really corny. I see it, I said, laughing. Now you. Oh, you're all golden again. Awesome. But Cameron, if your light is turquoise, then why does it turn gold? Cameron opened his eyes and looked at me with the kindest expression. I might have forgotten to mention that you bring any energy you call back to match the golden light of the sun. Okay, I'll try it. Cameron watched. Yes, you've got it. Golden sparkles all over. You see, we can do this together. We can live a life together and apart. We can probably send light to each other. Though we haven't tried it, I'll bet we can do it. Really? I do see us doing all that, Cameron. Though, knowing myself, I think I'll get lazy with calling back my energy. No, that we mustn't do. It will mean that our communion was a waste of time, and then we would grow apart and long for detachment. There's nothing more important than our life's purposes, and we can't let our relationship get in the way. Our relationship, will lose every time. Isn't that what happened with you and that Frank fellow? Yes, that's exactly what happened. He was no longer able to hear me or my purpose. I chose my purpose over the relationship in a heartbeat and left. See, it's much more important than it seems. In fact, it's more like this. If we can't regenerate afterwards, then we should not attempt communion. That's how important it is. Wow, thank you for saying that. I feel like you just removed a big weight. I'm glad you agree. I don't remember my purpose, but no matter what it is, I will want to do it as strongly as you want to do yours. And I'm sure I'll pick it over you even if we're married. Yes, I can believe that. It's the best thing, the most loving thing you've said to me. I threw my arms around his neck and pulled him into my embrace. Thank you. How do you feel? Do you feel like you have your energy back? Cameron took a moment to scan his body. I feel amazing, actually. Do you want another encounter? Yes, please. Let's play a game. You go first, Cameron. Okay. I want to live on a planet that has amazing, useful technology, but I want to live in a place that's in harmony with the plants and animals. My mouth must have been gaping open. Are you okay? You look shocked. I am shocked. I've never met anyone who wanted the same new Earth that I did. We laughed and hugged each other. That's synchronicity for you. Tell me something about that new Earth that I didn't say. Let's flesh it out. Okay. Well, there's the idea of free energy. I want to be able to travel easily anywhere without having to travel to get there. Oh, that doesn't sound right. Let me try again. I want to be able to access a travel pod or tunnel or plane or whatever from my little village or town, and it will quickly take me wherever I need to go. Any connections will be small and short, so I can get to my final destination in a day or less. That's interesting. I can't wait to see it. Okay, my turn. I want free energy too, but I don't want it to mess with the bees or the birds' sense of direction. Yes, I like that. It's very important. Okay, I have another. We all share in the responsibilities of government, like in Fair City, where it's fair. We learn all the rules so that anyone can lead a group. And people choose to do what they love to do for personal growth. Oh, I guess that's more like two things. That's okay. They seem to fit each other. Yes, that would be interesting. I didn't know Fair City had a government like that. Yeah, they share all aspects and start training when they're children. Well, at least that's the plan. I don't know how many children they have there. I looked at Cameron for reassurance. Not many. Cameron pulled me close to him. I like you. He stroked my hair and squeezed my flesh. It was highly arousing, being with someone, body, soul, and mind. I took in a deep breath and synchronized my exhales to his inhales. A deep, rhythmic pulse began to flash through the room. I pulled the energy up and out my seventh chakra as Cameron vacuumed up the connection through his seventh chakra and shot it out of his first. The wave of energy hit me unprepared. It was powerful, and my body shuddered in response. I took in a sharp, quick breath and shot it out my seventh, and into his seventh with equal power. The light between us pulsed faster and faster, matching our breath work. I felt like we were in some other realm. The light around us had a pink hue to it, though beyond the color fog, I could hardly make out Cameron's face. I met his eyes, and they grounded me, though I could hardly feel my body. We kept up our breathing, and the pulses brightened. They were so fast that the space between the flashes was shorter and shorter. My head rolled around, adjusting to the amplitude firing through it. Then he whispered, "It's time to redirect the current. We're going to flip our breathing so that you receive and I project. Are you ready?" I couldn't speak, but I nodded my head in a rolling action. "I'll start. In, out. Yes, that's it. In and out. Good. Okay. If I start to get heady, then it's your job to stop the flow, okay?" I was returning to earth. "Yes, I'll do that." I took over the breathing control with some loud breaths and let Cameron know to relax. The energy flow was filling me, and soon I shot out a burst of energy from my first into Cameron's first chakra. It increased his breathing and shot it back into my seventh. I matched his pace, and the light began pulsing again, but this time the air had a light blue hue to it. I leaned forward and touched his lips to mine, but continued the pace until the flashing was longer than the pulses. Cameron held his gaze for as long as he could, but soon he closed his eyes and lulled his head around. I leaned forward and whispered into his ear, "Time to slow down. The train is coming to a halt." I kissed him fully on the mouth to compromise his breathing. He had to slow down a little to keep up. I leaned back to survey him again and began talking him down. In, out, in, nice and deep, pause, and out, pause. He opened his eyes and collapsed back onto the couch. "Don't you feel better?" I sat up and stood up. "I feel euphoric. Wow, you are very bright right now. I think all of this has worked the miracle I hoped it would." I looked over at Cameron. "Oh, yeah, you look really golden bright too. White gold." He stood up. "Let's go now. We don't need communion anymore. We can meet up if we need to re-energize again. But I doubt it will be necessary now." Cameron and I gave each other a long hug before leaving his apartment. We went across the street and hopped into the pool. I'd never been in the little pool at the Newcomers Inn with anyone else. I noticed how small it seemed with company. I got out of the pool and put on my robe. There was a note from Marco. "When you're ready, please come to the city center. There's a celebration going on that you should attend." I read the note to Cameron. "Do you want to go check it out?" "No, I'm going for a walk. I think it's best if we separate for a while and get our bearings apart." "I understand. Bye then." I went back to my room and put on a fresh gown. Today's color is royal blue. I decided that each time I got a new colored gown, it was a new day. The color reminded me of velvet dresses and dancing galas. That would be nice. But I think it's a fifth chakra talking gown. What else was the fifth known for? Personal expression out in the world. I made my way out to the grassy road and started down the street with purpose. At the intersection, I looked for someone to ask for directions. All roads lead to the center. Have fun! A man in a gold robe waved in the general direction of the center of Brighttown and kept going. Are you on your way to the celebration? Another man with beautiful green eyes stood just behind me. He wore a green robe that was the color of new grass. I am. So am I. Would you mind if I walked with you? Not at all. I'm always up for meeting new people. I'm Edward. I remember when you came through. I joined you and the others on the hill. Oh, I'm so grateful you did. There were so many people and animals following that if I had gone into town, they might have lost the light in the end. Yes, I realized that. In fact, I think we all did that day. What inspired you to brave the dark like that? All the Brights want to know. You're sort of the talk of the town lately. Oh, I just felt the call to do it. I already tried it on a smaller scale when I was in Fair City. I guess it was the logical next step. I stopped to face my walking partner. Edward, it was very nice to meet you. Thank you for your help on the hill. Bringing people in from the dark benefits us all. If you don't mind, I need to spend some time alone. Edward smiled. No problem. I'm sure we'll see each other again. Bye. I waved my goodbyes.